Gheni Batur, the heroic star in East Turkestan history. The freedom fighter, commander of powerful rebel army of oppressed Uyghurs. He is remembered as a legendary hero since more than 70 years by Uyghur people in East Turkestan. This abandoned land was country of Uyghurs and called East Turkestan. This name was changed to Xinjiang by Chinese colonizers, which means new dominated land. Ethnic Uyghur people were the main ethnic nations of East Turkestan. They have established Uyghur kingdoms, empires, and the nation-states through the history in this land before China's invasion. However, because of the strategic and the geopolitical reasons, East Turkestan was attacked by China many times. In 1940s, Uyghurs organized, built their own army with the help of Russians, battled against the Chinese nationalist colonial armies. We interviewed the Uyghur veterans who participated to those battles. The general of East Turkestan People's Liberation Army at that time, Zunun Tashayev, who is living in Kazakhstan now, described Uyghurs' independence war against the Chinese colonialism as follows. I was a manufacturing worker in Gulja city before. I participated in East Turkestan People's Liberation Army and participated underground rebel organization against the Chinese government. Meanwhile, Gheni Batur organized armed rebel group in Nilka County and attacked the Gulja city. He kicked out the Chinese armies and liberated Gulja quickly. He chose me as an assistant general at that time. Since then, I fought together with Gheni Batur. Gheni Batur expanded his armed forces and liberated many other cities within the support of Uyghur people in East Turkestan. Batur means is hero, and it was given by the East Turkestan government as an award for his heroic success in many huge battles. Gheni Batur is smart, a large muscular man, and skilled horse rider. He became legendary character even among his enemies. It was well known at that time that Chinese armies were afflicted by fear of Gheni Batur. He led many toughest war operations, injured many times, but never failed in any single battle. Finally, East Turkestan was totally liberated, and all of the Chinese colonizers and the settlers were kicked out, and democratic East Turkestan Republic was established in 1944. In 1949, while people of East Turkestan were in huge joy of independence, the game of big powers in this world ruined everything. One of the main reasons Moscow stopped at that time supporting the East Turkestan Republic and forced its leaders to negotiate with the Chinese nationalist government was the agreement made at Yalta Conference held on February 11 in 1945, in which the Soviets signed a friendship treaty with the Chinese nationalists. The meeting among Stalin, Roosevelt, and the Churchill in Yalta guaranteed Stalin's interest in Manchuria and Mongolia, but the newly established East Turkestan Republic became an obstacle in the realization of Stalin's geostrategic plan in China. In accordance with the Yalta Agreement, Soviet-Chinese negotiations started in June 1945 and ended in August after the Chinese nationalist government guaranteed Russian interest in Mongolia and Manchuria. In these negotiations, Chinese nationalist leader Chiang Kai-shek demanded from the Stalin that Moscow not support East Turkestan independence or provide weapons to the East Turkestan Republic. Moscow assured Chiang Kai-shek that Soviet had no territorial interest in East Turkestan. Leaders of East Turkestan government forced to participate peace talks with China by Stalin and killed with mysterious airplane crash on their way. In 1955, Mao Zedong invaded East Turkestan, the young independent state who lost leaders and the weaponry support of Soviet Union. At first, Chinese government started to promise autonomy to the region and tried to please the Uyghurs, but they started to kill important Uyghur national figures secretly. Ghani Batur at that time managed to escape the Soviet Union. Gheni Batur said, "I was imprisoned in Chinese prison 2 years, 8 months. I killed 3 soldiers who guarding the prison, took their weapon, fled to the mountain, recruit Uyghur youths and established rebel group. Later, my rebel group became main armed forces of East Turkestan government. However, we lost our leaders and the weaponry support was cut off. Chinese and Russians are both with modern weapons came together and left us no choice. I have left from my country. I thought I would go back to fight against China if there is any chance, but there's never had a chance come for me again." Today, Russians, Western, and Uyghur historians believe that the East Turkestan Republic became a pawn in a strategic battle for powers, and that the Uyghur people's struggle for freedom and independence was betrayed by the political intrigues of Soviets. Today, people of East Turkestan are suffering under tremendous pressure of the Chinese government. Mass arrest is ongoing, and the violation of every ethnic Uyghur person's privacy and the personal space by the Chinese state terror created fear and anxiety. People of East Turkestan feel trapped. They have left nothing except anger. History may reproduce another Gheni Batur soon or not is hard to tell. But one thing is for sure. History of tyranny is, after all, also the history of its eventual defeat. So we believe that China is creating its own graveyard.